Practitioners of magic do not like electricity. It confuses magic just as it confuses people. I once took a bus tour where the guide said certain things twice, for emphasis, for rhythm, to fill the quiet space. Practitioners of magic do not like electricity. It confuses magic just as it confuses people. He would say twice. I'd seen the lights before a few times in my life, and I remember mostly how they move, like thoughts. The scientists say the Earth is like a giant magnet with a north and south polarity. The Earth across which we now travel on a train that stops to pick up hitchhikers. Film, media, with its potential to commodify, turn into commodity anything that is meaningful to us. Business and numbers, out of life force and wonder. Maybe this wacky process of harnessing money and technology is just an extension of thinking, of trying to understand. These images and sounds are articulations of experience. We look at them and try to decipher the reality that gave birth to them. It may well be that the Northern Lights cannot be filmed, that nature cannot be filmed, that film or media is in conflict with nature. Is it just a surrogate for the real thing? Is film a surrogate for real experience? I have to get used to these guys. It's like revenge for all the people I've filmed. Now I know what it's like. Yeah. How do you feel now? So fast. Yeah. Well, I'll try and make it a short story. But I did take pictures very young. Photographs. And I played the piano very young. And the piano was because my parents made me play the piano.
Same story with violin here.
Yeah, violin. And so when I would improvise in the piano, I would sort of see things, tell stories, you know. They were like, I didn't realize at the time that they were like films. And then in high school I had an opportunity to use a Super 8 camera, and I made a film and I saw, oh, this is actually what I was doing on the piano, moving into images and sound and exploring the world, and it was totally clear that's what I wanted to do. What is important?
Education.
Education.
Yes. Really, kids in primary schools, everything.
Well, that's so.
Get close.
I mean, as a kid, your chances of coming across interesting stuff are very small, right? And so often, as a kid, you're completely changed by completely changed by something like that. I mean, I know I was. And you know, often it's like drugs or something, but it's good if it's an actual place where there's creativity going on and they can plug into that and see. We can also skip this, you know.
Why we prepared now everything.
The thing is, like, whatever it is, you have to give it enough time, otherwise it's not worth it, you know. So
Now it's we are on time. Yeah. We are actually on time.
So my question though is, if we show that the pitch that I showed you a little bit of, when is the best time to show it?
Before the film, you said.
10 minutes.
Okay.
And the archive here it's how many gives?
I think about 2,000. I haven't actually counted.
But short in
Oh,
look.
some are long. Yeah, they can be any length.
Yeah.
Because it reads, you don't have to load the whole clip, it just reads
Just a piece.
a piece as it's going. So that's one of their inventions, actually, to make it
Lighter,
Yeah.
smoother. Yeah. In Udine you will play on this instrument.
Yeah.
Okay. I hope that I can to see it live.
Because it's like you're mapping the consciousness, and in a way it's really, really intimate.
Yeah.
Distinct. Even more intimate than films,
Yeah.
but not to compare.
Yeah.
But the images you shot and you imagined and experienced are given new life
Yeah.
by their own in a way, and the possibilities are much greater than we can imagine.
Yeah.
And it's so really something magical in it, like your consciousness, like
I agree, and I mean, it's interesting. That's why I like taking images from everywhere, because it's kind of like you're recontextualizing them, and it's revenge in some ways, you know, for the crap that comes at you all the time. And when you put it in here and put it in a new context, it has a whole other meaning.
It's like organism or something.
Yeah, and it's also, because it's hard to control, you're always responding to it. You know, like something will come up and it's like, oh, what do I do with that? And what do we, you know, and all these new things emerge. And it's just really fascinating thing. Yeah. So I guess I have to pack up now.
One last question.
Yeah.
Like, it's so different. The things you do, this practical thing, and then what happens in the end, I think.
Yeah.
You know, the images.
I know. And, you know, 99% of people who watch films have no idea about it. And every little thing has to work. Like your tripod, you know, the position of the focus pulling thing, the, you know, windsock on the microphone. Every little thing can wreck it. Or can change it. Sometimes in a good way.
Is my microphone in the picture?
Yes.
Stand.
For the last few years, I've been so happy just pointing my cameras at the natural world. Strangely, it is an affirmation of the moment, of being in the present. but the animal in me is mistrustful. How can technology possibly help us connect with this vibrant life that surrounds us? And as a filmmaker, you have this habit or this tendency to watch and listen a lot, you know. It's just, it's a disposition, and it's like what he's doing. You get into this mode of because you're making a film, you're collecting and watching, and you're not participating as much. But then you really participate when you look at the material and you're editing. I mean, more than anybody else does. You're like really reviewing life and what people were saying and seeing quite deeply into situations. And that's habit forming if you're making films all your life. I was thinking about, I was thinking a little bit, okay, why am I shooting here? What I told you, because it's a place that has a history of war. So I was thinking that. And then I was thinking, well, should there be a person in it or should there not be a person in it? And then she looks so good there in silhouette in the black against the fog. I thought, okay, there should be a person. And then I thought, should the camera have a sense of person behind it? And so yeah, okay, so I'm gonna walk and look like it's someone exploring the area. And then the usual, you know, something a bit tighter, something a bit wider, variations.
But do you do like you always do variations, or do you just go with one shot? Like
It depends. The editor in me is usually getting variations.
because I was shooting also variations. Like
Yeah,
this,
yeah.
you know?
I think it's good. It's normal.
Yeah.
But then I really like the shots that don't have variations, like that are really just an engagement. So I do those too. But yeah, there's sort of a pattern of coverage that comes up sometimes that I try to also get rid of sometimes, you know. And it's harder in landscape because it's kind of, well, this is what it is. But if there's action, you can respond to the action better, and then it's not so schematic. And then I thought, okay, well, I know there's somebody filming me this whole time, which is kind of strange. It's an unusual situation. And then I thought, okay, you saw when and it looked really strange. It looked like this sort of like, this alien, because the setup, and you can't really see you just see this thing and all the green behind you. It's interesting. And then I thought, well, maybe, who knows, we might cut it together somehow. You know? Foggy.
now I could do it for her. Transplant her to what? I brought her back. She'll live and I'll get her another body. I've had success with transplants, now I can do it for her. Transplant her to what? I brought her back. She'll live and I'll get her another body. I can make her complete again.
Hello.
Maybe there's a difference between looking for something and just looking. When you are part of what you're looking at, and it looks back at you, and you look back at it.
Il sentimento è una cosa completamente diversa dall'emozione, perché il sentimento, nell'emozione tu vivi una cosa, nel sentimento tu ascolti quello che avviene nel tuo corpo. È come, il sentimento è come una sensazione, il sentimento è tu ascolti il corpo, l'emozione vivi un istante, l'emozione è istantanea, vivi quel momento, il sentimento invece è come un eco,
È quello che ti rimane in circolo.
È qualcosa che ti rimbomba dentro. Cioè, il sentimento è sentire il tuo corpo mosso dall'emozione.
It's interesting in cinema. This is my personal experience. When you talk about emotions and memory and sentimentality, it's a very weird lifestyle because I film a lot. I experience things through the camera. I have emotions when I'm filming. Most people have that in their brain, in their memory, in their body. I have it on film. So for decades now, I have film material that that dominates my memory and my sentimentality. You know? So it's another strange interaction with technology. Sometimes I go to a place by myself, and it's not like I'm traveling even, it's just like I'm in a space where you don't have your usual routine, and the environment that you're in stimulates you, or you interact with it in a different way because you're alone. And sometimes that's landscape, sometimes that's culture, like people in cities or villages. But the big difference is that you allow time. You know, you don't have a big agenda to do this at this time and that at that time. You can just be, and you can stay up all night if you want. You can watch the sunrise, you can watch the sunset, all these in-between times that you usually don't experience when you're in your routine. So travel is as much about being in one place as it is about traveling. You know, the notion of travel comes into it because when we travel, we say we leave our home and we're on the road. But that's just part of it. And for a long time, I've wondered if it's possible to do that in your own home. You know, to travel without going anywhere. And I have yet to be able to accomplish that. I mean, filmmaking is really just a recording technology. So you can someone can use that recording technology in any number of ways. You know, a lot of people use it to tell dramatic stories, to illustrate narratives and stories, because that's their focus. Scientists will use it to take advantage of the ability to see things closer or to see things farther. Security will use it to see if someone's breaking into a house. You know, it's just a recording medium. And for me, it from the beginning was a medium that could show you states that one would feel as a human, states of mind, whether it's like a direct visual relationship or an emotion like music. And I just came to that naturally. That's just who I was. And yeah, I use it differently, but there's so many different ways that you can use the medium. I actually wanted, before we met, to make some notes, but I haven't had time. And that's indicative of the pace at which we're moving. You know, like things are happening one after the other, which is fine. It's very exciting. But trying to catch the things and remember them is another challenge in the situation. And then you manage to map a journey, for me, which is amazing, through different places and people that relate to the films. And you do it in this great way where you don't tell me what's going on. and suddenly I'm like standing in front of a Tarkovsky location. The next night I'm talking to a 90-year-old filmmaker who has a tendency to film in a diary manner that I very strongly relate to. Like, they're completely different sides of filmmaking. And of course, meeting with a philosopher, meeting with a physicist, these are fantastic occasions. It's very exciting. But it's so dense that I'm sure I will be reflecting on it for the weeks to come. But that's the thing. I mean, like I said at the beginning, it's actually really good to write on the day or the next day, because especially when there's a lot going on, Thursday erases Wednesday and Friday erases Thursday, and the finer details of observations of things people have said, you lose them very quickly. But I mean, the whole filmmaking thing is a bizarre aberration of life, actually, anyway, because if we didn't have recording devices, if we didn't have language to written word to keep track of things, we'd be living much more in the present all the time. But we're so sophisticated now that we're constantly referring backwards and anticipating forwards. We're planning, we're reflecting. As our philosopher friend said, we have sentimentality when we take a memory and attach an emotion to it. We live very deeply in that next present. That's us.
More?
You got more? Give me more? Okay, that's good. Yeah, just go where I go, kind of thing.